Hey, and welcome to another episode. Today's episode, I'm actually going to be talking a little bit about the idea, my thoughts on the ideas of a legacy and why it's so important to try to come together with people to build some sort of legacy for the future. So here in 2020, we actually spent a lot of time indoors, not really able to kind of communicate with people because of social distancing, and we weren't able to kind of go to actually go to work. If you had opportunity to work remotely, you would work remotely. That for me, being able to work remotely was an opportunity, and it has always been an opportunity in my line of work. So the idea of working in this particular mindset is actually something pretty new for people who I know. And I'm trying to say that it actually allows people to focus more on utilizing technology such as like the internet to communicate, such as using Zoom or Meetups or Skype, Discord. Attends a lot of conferences to become more virtual. And now you have to become a little bit more, what we would say, creative in how you want to stand out. And one way I wanted to figure out how to help people is basically start with my family and my friends. And when I talk about a legacy, it's like, what do you want people to think of you? 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000 years from now. With the internet, you can look up people from back in the day and find out who they were and what was written about them and what was written about them from other people. And I like being able to have that ability to kind of write my own story instead of having my story written for me. So when I go ahead and I talk to people about a legacy, I'm trying to get to that right now in this kind of talk, is that I don't think that I actually understood how connected the world can become, and that's because I only use internet, to talk to my immediate friends and family who I, talk to. But there's actually an opportunity to connect with people from around the world. If you don't know, there's another company called Starlink. The link is basically, the company is basically being pioneered by a man named Elon Musk, and he's also the CEO of Tesla, the chairman of he's the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, and he's also the chairman of the I think it's called Power City or Grid City. I forget what it's called, but he has a power grid city, and where he's basically creating like his own electricity, so he can help power a lot of the electric cars and come up with different innovative things. And one of the things about Starlink, going back to that, was that their method or their dream is to actually have small satellites that will basically live in like suborbit, where people from around the world in different parts of the world will be able to pick up the internet. And this network of independent like interceptors satellites that will fly around and be able to ping services will allow people to have the internet from all over the world. It would actually help us connect all different types of people to the world. Now, whether or not everybody who's going to be willing to want to connect to the internet isn't always the problem, but we'll be more connected as a world. We'll be able to know that we're not just where we live isn't the only story that we have to know. We can know there's other stories. You might be able to get interested in maybe wanting to become a lawyer in our local court, then maybe become a lawyer, that is that works on international law, or helping people in other parts of the world, or learning a new language because you found that you had a fan base online that's pretty much, it's an ice cream truck right now. So the idea is to kind of understand that we're going to be able to be online, and we're probably going to be able to find people who we may have never been able to connect with before, who might connect with us now, mainly because of the fact that they there's just millions, even billions of people online that will be able to do this. And Starlink is just one thing. Now, it's not, they're planning on putting out 42,000 Starlink satellites that could change the way we look at the world and where we'll look at us. So if you're thinking about it like that, I'm like, it's good to actually take the time now to prepare to put yourself online and to share your information online, because you might start getting people who want to work with you and do things. This is why cryptocurrency is going to be so important, because if you have people who live in rural parts of, I don't know, Brazil or something like that, or Panama, you know, and I don't know how rural those places are, but if they can get a phone out there and they can use they can basically access everything in the world that is accessible through the services that Starlink provides. And this is game changing, you know. I actually like that, because it tells us that just being locked, you know, just be in this pandemic where you're stuck in the house isn't going to really stop you from seeing the world, you know. This is why I think technology is so important. And not to go ahead, and I don't want to talk too much about that because I might leave that for more of a topic for tomorrow's podcast. But I want to also talk a little bit about these things here. So if you can see here, this is a Raspberry Pi, and it's a Raspberry Pi 3 Model B, and this is just a fancy casing, and this is Raspberry 4 Model B. And the difference between this one has a little bit more CPU power. So I think it's a 2 gigabyte of RAM with a quad core processor in it. But I'm pretty sure it's pretty much almost the same power as of your phone, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on what phone you actually have. But one of the things that you can hook these things up to your monitors, and you can even create different types of programs on top of it and have them run services on it, and people can have, you know, the desktop replacement. These things actually about the size of a credit card, maybe a little bit less. This is probably the size of a credit card. This is probably a little bit more. These are just casings actually. And the idea what I want to talk to you about is that it's like maybe $40, $50 to actually get one of these. And one of the things that's great about that, you can actually help people learn how to program. You might be able to go ahead and have a company of people who live in a remote area be able to hook up a whole bunch of computers to these things. I mean, a whole bunch of monitors to these things and keyboards, because it actually has a USB slots here. As you can see, it has USB slots, and it has a Ethernet jack cable. Here on this side it has a HDMI, and it actually has an output for audio auxiliary jack, and it has a power slot, a micro USB. That's just this one. This one is a newer version, which has all the same ones on the front, USBs and Ethernet jacks, but on the side it has a micro HDMI cable too, and then on the right side it has an auxiliary jack, and it uses a new USB-C port. So that's kind of like I don't think I moved it. Well, you know, so the idea about these things is that, you know, this is great, because now this allows you to get the power of your computer, your laptop, you know, to be able to be used other places. You could even go ahead and you know, add some software on here and share this with someone else and get people to, you know, to learn how to code or to work on projects with you. You could even do some minor video editing, or they can upload or even do some minor code, you know, different things that you can basically do. I'm thinking about these things for my ideas for my business. But being able to have virtual assistants working for you, you want to figure out why these things are all important, you know. And I'm really excited about these things, because it really shows that there's possibilities to get to do the things you want to do when you want to do them, and you don't really need to have like so much startup capital like how most companies basically do. Sometimes you need a couple $1,000s to get things done, but here, if you can find the right people, to talk with you, you can just get it, you can probably get it started for relatively a couple $1,000s, max. And a lot of people don't really know how to get that done. So I'm looking to go ahead and learn and share it and give it out for free to help get more people to start doing this so we can find more ideas. Google is doing a great job as well, trying to find ways to allow people access to information and to order or edit things and organize information relatively cheap. So you don't have to buy expensive software except for your phone. That's probably the only thing you're going to be basically paying for. But having your own domain, which is like your website address, your internet address, and it could be a part of your business, it could be a part of your family, and you can use that as a way to communicate with your family, and this will help you protect you from people outside your organization to talk to you, because they would only be able to talk to you through here. In this particular situation, you can also utilize, if it's a Gmail account, for example, you can utilize all the software that Gmail basically has. So that's another topic I want to talk about, is learning how to create your own domain and build your own services underneath your own private organization. Very similar to how you have an organization in a regular job, And podcasting is not just a way to just make money, but podcasting is a way to share your information in ways that people who have time to listen can listen, and to find ways to get people to get the word out about what you're trying to do in all different formats. Getting people to edit those things could be people who you hire on virtual, on these virtual assistant sites to download your audio clips and edit them, and you can pay them. And one thing about it, you're actually helping people, help their families. Most people who will work on these things are not just working for the health. They're looking to help families. So living in a country like the United States, we have the opportunity to really become empowered by the things we want to do. I mean, we can have our own banks, where we would actually go ahead and provide micro loans to people in certain areas, and they would and as they work for us, they pay us back. The opportunities are endless, but we're no longer going to be given like the instructions on what you should do. You really should focus on what you want to do internally and follow that. So this is what I actually want to do, and I'm looking to find people who want to work like this too, because there's just so much to get done, and you can't get it done by yourself. Network minds, people working together, is going to be the people who's going to be able to solve problems faster, because you need people from all different diverse backgrounds, not just a whole bunch of maybe like elitists from an Ivy League school who solve those problems. It's going to have to be people that if you live in a certain area where there's not that many people who are interested in going to school, but they're interested in running their own business, you may want to have people who have their own business, people who have gone to school, people who has their own business and never went to school. You may want to have somebody who is has money to back them. You may want to have older people, younger people, and having people listen to it and share their thoughts and stuff. And you would hope that everybody also has their own podcast and their own YouTube channel and their own Twitter account to share their thoughts with you, because you would want to get people to kind of share their thoughts and get your ideas out there in all different types of ways to hopefully get people to say, hey, this is good or this is not good, So that's it for today. I just wanted to go ahead and just shout that out. These videos are going to be coming out more on a regular basis as I continue to plan out the things for my business and the ideas I want to do about planning to go back to school. I actually have a couple of videos I put out talking about every single class I would have to take and how long it would take and how much money and how I want to go about the process. I think I'm due for another video to talk about the undergraduate courses I need to complete, the statement of purpose, and the GRE that I have to take. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to subscribe, if you got this through an email, you want to sign up for a newsletter, you could just hit me up at ksammer.chris@gmail.com, or theyamanote podcast at gmail.com. Take care.